Welcome back, guys. It is a championship racing once again here at SARCO. We're in the BMW E30 M3. It is round number 4 of our championship. We are at the Red Bull Ring GP track in Austria. We have 2 races of 10 laps, with each race being decided by a 5-minute qualifying. Sit back and enjoy the highlights of both races 1 and 2. So we take a look at the starting lineup here for race number 1. In 15th place we have Jacques from TTR. He's in the 8th row by himself. We move up to row number 7. In 14th place is Duppy from TTR, and he is alongside Ross, 13th place for the Fad Muckers. To row number 6 in 12th place is Andrew for Green Mamba Racing. He is alongside the Synergy Racers Rudy in 11th place. Row number 5, and we have Colin from Dacol Racing. He's in 10th, and he's alongside Jacques Racing, who representing DNA Racing. We move up to row number 4. Louis, he's in 8th place for Tosco 2, and he's alongside Dylan for the Green Mumbas in 7th position. Moving up to row number 3, the Ninja Racing driver Jakes, he's in 6th place, and he is alongside 5th placed Marius for Silverback Racing. Row number 2, and we have Bruno, teammate to Marius, Silverback Racing. Bruno's in 4th place, and he's alongside Gerard, who is in 3rd place for Tosco 2. Moving to row number 1, and it is a Tosco 1 affair. Durkee, he's in 2nd place, and Scholl takes pole position. As we wait for these green lights to go off, green, and away they go. You see Bruno's had a great start coming off the line there. As we see the drivers coming past here down the main straight, preparing to go into turn number 1. We'll see who will win this battle. That's a Charles. Oh, Charles gone around. Oh, it looks like Bruno had a little tag there on the back of Durkee. But Charles leads Bruno 2nd. That looks like a Marius in 3rd. And there comes Jakes up in 4th place. There's Dylan in 5th. Very closely contested here as they prepare to come into turn number 2. Jake's having a look on the inside there of Marius. Looks like he's made it quite easy in the end there. But Marius looks like he's got a much better run over Jake's, coming out of that extremely tight right-hander. We are tracking the leader, Scholl, coming into turn number 3. Bruno still very close behind them. We can see that middle pack is getting extremely congested as they prepare to come to turn number 4. That's Dylan slotting in behind Jakes, or that was Louis moving himself to the inside of Dylan. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Well, this is going to be extremely close as they prepare to go into turn 7. Oh, there's contact between Jacques and Dylan. That's sent Dylan off. I'm sure he's going to have a bit of damage on his vehicle. But back to the leaders, Scholl and Bruno, crossing the line to begin lap number 2. We'll bring up what's happening in the positions. So Scholl, he leads with Bruno 2nd, Marius is 3rd, Jakes is 4th, Louis in 5th place with Gerard in 6th. Dylan is down to 7th with Durkee in 8th. Colin is 9th with Andrew 10th. Jacques Racing from DNA is down to 11th after their contact on Dylan. Rudy, he's in 11th place with Jacques in 13th. Duppy is in 14th, and Ross all the way down in 15th position. We see some positions changing here between Colin and Dirk. We'll just stick with this action as they come up over that hill and start preparing to go into turn number 3. A little bit wide there by Durkee. Well, there's a driver that spun out. We'll have to go back and see what happened there. So we go back and we see that that was actually Marius, who was in 3rd place coming into turn number 3. got the rear a little bit sideways, and unfortunately not being able to catch it, and that put him right in the path of Jakes, and Jakes collecting him on the way through. Very unfortunate there for Marius. So we jump to the middle of pack in shot. That is Colin in car number 15. Right behind he has Andrew, and that is Jacques Racing. Great line there by Jacques Racing coming through turn number 8. In shot, that was Charles and Bruno going past. Then in shot, this is 3rd, 4th and 5th. The two Tosco 2 drivers ahead of Jakes. Lights off coming into turn number 3. A little contact between the two Tosco 2 drivers. That's unfortunately sent Gerard off, as well as Louis. He went wide. So Jakes has made an easy meal of the contact between those two drivers. So Jakes has now moved himself up into 3rd position. Charles in 1st place coming through Remus. We'll take a look at the current positions here on lap number 4. So Charles still leads with Bruno 0.7 behind him. Jakes is up to 3rd with Gerard and Dirkie 4th and 5th. Dylan from Green Mumbas, he's in 6th place with Colin in 7th. Jacques Racing from DNA, he's in 8th place with Andrew in 9th. Louis down to 10th place. Morris making his way back up into 11th. Ross, he's in 12th with Duppy 13th. Mal Jacques, he's in 14th place. And Rudy down in 15th position. We'll just follow these two drivers as they come through turn number 5. Bruno taking a much tighter line coming out of turn number 6. We'll see whether he'll be able to get into a slipstream, put himself in an overtaking position coming through turn 7. And then down through a Red Bull Mobile. That it looks like Bruno got a great drive coming out of that. It looks like he's starting to gain on Scholl. We'll follow them as they prepare to go into the Casual Edge corner, turn number 1. Bruno unfortunately not far enough. Well, apologies, Bruno is too far to make an attack, so Scholl will hold that position for now. We'll definitely come back and catch this action a little bit later on in this race. So we jump to a 6th, 7th, and there's Andrew in the background in 8th place. Jacques Racing starting to put lots of pressure here on Colin, and he makes a move going into Remus. A great overtake there by Jacques from DNA. He really made that very easy. In the background there, that's Marius starting to put lots of pressure on Andrew. We'll just jump there to see whether Marius will have a look on the inside coming into turn 3. No, he doesn't. He is too far away. Flames flying as Marius changes into 2nd gear. Coming through a Roush, turn number 4. Andrew's gone a little bit wide, getting that power on. The back is a little bit loose. Marius goes inside, but he too loses a little bit of his momentum and grip there. Through turn 5. Looks like Marius might get the run on him coming into turn number 7. Marius has a little look, shows that he's there, but too far away. Through turn 7, Marius runs a little bit wide. All that unstabilizes the car slightly. But Andrew, he runs wide. He goes past, and we see here in the shot, that was Colin making a move past Dylan. We've just seen both Colin and Jacques Racing going past Dylan there, and Marius has taken that position away from Andrew and is starting to move himself back up the order. We jump back to our leaders, and Charles still leads ahead of Bruno. We'll take a look at the positions here on lap number 6. Charles still leads Bruno 2nd with Gerard in 3rd place. Jakes is in 4th with Louis in 5th. Jacques Racing from DNA, he's in 6th place with Colin in 7th. Morris is down in 8th place. Duppy, he's in 9th with Louis in 10th. Rudy, he's in 11th place with Ross 12th. Andrews 13th. Dylan down in 14th place, just ahead of Jacques from TTR. Cross the line to begin a lap number 7. We'll stay with this challenge as they go into turn number 1. Charles currently leading this championship ahead of Bruno. Under the Remus boards, preparing to come into turn number 2. This is known as Remus. A great line there by Charles, keeping it nice and tidy. Bruno just not able to find the way past Charles. And Charles just keeping that gap just under a second. Whoa, big power slide there by Bruno coming down into turn 3. He got that very sideways. I honestly thought there would be contact between these two drivers, but he managed to control it, and very fortunately not hitting the back of Charles. Through a Verth curve, turn number 5. You've got to be quite careful of that curb on turn number 6. See a great shot of that Verth advertising boards. Through a Rinth they go, turn number 7. Then hard on the brakes here into a Red Bull Mobile, turn number 8. And across the line to begin a lap number 8. In shot, that is Jacques Racing and Morris in the yellow car. Morris really has had a battle here this evening. Unfortunately losing it going into turn number 3, and Jake's very close behind him, collecting him. And unfortunately Morris had to wait for the entire field to go past before he was able to rejoin the track. And here's Morris in 7th position, working his way ever so closer to Jacques Racing from DNA. In the background there, that was Jake's in the 3rd place in shot. This is Dirkie, currently 4th. Just behind him, that is Louis. Dirkie driving with Tosca 1, teammate to Charles. He exits through turn number 6. See, the drivers basically are now settled in their positions. Under the Verth signboard into turn number 7. They'll cross the line to begin a lap number 9. So Marius in 7th place is starting to put pressure here on Jacques. Marius tucking right up behind him, coming down this straight, preparing to go into Remus, turn number 2. Will he have a look around the outside? Side by side into turn 2. Well, Morris tried the undercut. Oh, unfortunately you've got that power on that changed the direction, but I see Morris is now cut around the outside. Will he try and go around the outside here in turn number 3? Jacques goes very defensive. Very tight line there by Jacques. Morris trying the undercut. Extremely close by these two drivers. Preparing to go into turn number 4. Morris getting that back very sideways, try and get that power on a lot earlier. Jacques is holding his own here on a lap number 9. Through turn 5 and turn 6. Seems like Morris has lost that momentum that he had on Jacques. Into turn 7, little sideways action there by Morris. A quick tap on the brakes, turn the nose in, power on. Very wide line there by Morris. I think he got stuck on that curb and wasn't able to bring it back. across the line to begin a lap at number 10. And Jacques has been able to fend off this attack. So having a look at turn number 8, we see Charles and Bruno weaving left and right. Charles, he will cross the line to win. He will keep Bruno at bay in second place. Dirkie will finish in third. Jakes will come home in fourth. Gerard will finish fifth with Jacques from DNA in sixth. Morris will come home in seventh with Colin in eighth. Dupe ninth. Louis finishes 10th with Rudy 11th. Dylan down in 12th place. Ross 13th. Andrew in 14th place. And Jacques down in 15th position. So now we head to a race number 2, and I'm sure Bruno will be looking to try get that win over Charles here for this next race. Once again, this race will be determined by a 5-minute qualifying. Sit back and enjoy. We take a look at the starting lineup for race number 2. Colin is in row 8 by himself in 15th position. We move to a row number 7. Duppy, he is in 14th place, and he's alongside Andrew in 13th. We move to row number 6. In the 12th place is Jacques from TTR, and he's alongside Rudy from Synergy Racing in 11th place. We move to row number 5. Ross is in 10th place, and he is alongside the DNA's Jacques from in 9th place. We move to row number 4. Louis from Tosco 2, he's in 8th place, and he is alongside the Green Mamba Dylan in 7th position. We go to row number 3. Jakes, he's in 6th place alongside Marius from Silverback Racing in 5th position. We move to row number 2. Bruno, he's in 4th, and he's alongside Dirk from Tosco 1 in 3rd place. Row number 1 is a split affair. Gerard from Tosco 2, he's in 2nd place, and Charles from Tosco 1, he once again takes pole position. So we wait for the green lights here. Race number 2, and Bruno's had a great start coming off the line. Well, that's Dirkie and Bruno having gone into each other. There's unfortunately Bruno in the background there. He's landed on his roof. Morris has moved up from 5th place. He's now up into 3rd. We jump on board with Jakes currently in 4th place. Ahead of him is Morris in car number 44. Dirkie, he's second with Turbo Charles away in 1st place. As they prepare to go through Eremus. Well, that's Dylan having a little look on the outside of Jakes. Dirkie goes defensive, a little contact between Jakes and Marius. Marius is still ahead of Jakes there. No damage done between the two drivers. As we wait to see what's happening as they start preparing to come to turn number 3. Jakes is dropped down to 5th place. That was Dylan having a little look around the outside. Well, Jakes getting a little bit sideways. That's Louis almost going into the back of Dylan. They are 3 wide, preparing to go into turn number 4. Jakes drops back. Louis, he moves himself up ahead of both Dylan and Jakes. So Dylan has a big power slide coming out of turn number 5. Jakes having a little look around the outside of Dylan as they head down this back straight under the Worth banner, preparing to go into turn number 7. Side by side, well, there's contact between Dylan and Jakes. Oh, and that's Jacques going straight into Dylan. Big impact there between those two drivers. Charles crosses the line. He leads with a Dirkie second. Morris is third. Jakes fourth. In shot, Jakes currently in 4th place. Coming down the back section, down the hill, preparing to go to turn number 3. Well, that was very close by Colin. Andrew going for the much tighter line. So that's Colin 6th, Andrew 7, Ross 8th, and Morris in 9th. Big power slide by both Morris and Ross. Ross going a little bit sideways. nearly coming straight back onto the track and taking Marius with him. Marius was third at one stage. I'm not too sure how he has dropped down the field. Race leader Scholl crosses the line to begin his lap number 3. We take a quick look at the position. So Scholl leads with Dirkie second, Louis he's in third place with Jake's fourth, Dupi's in fifth, Collins sixth, Marius seventh, Andrews eighth, Ross is ninth, Jacques is 10th with Jacques from TTR in 11th, Rudy's in 12th, Bruno 13th, Dylan in 14th place, and Gerard down in 15th position. So Scholl, having won the first race, was extremely closely contested by Bruno, but Bruno unfortunately landing on his roof. The battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th is still very much on. So Colin leads this battle. He is just ahead. Whoa, very close there between Ross and Andrew, having a little touch. That's Jacques from DNA Racing making a move through on the inside. Colin is still leading this battle, going through turn number 4. That is Ross in car number 27, Jacques from DNA Racing. He's behind in the car of 59, and Andrew is a further place behind him. Down the back straight to prepare to go into turn number 7. Jacques having a look on the inside of Ross, but not enough space to get his nose in and make that move stick. Ross now goes extremely tight. Jacques now follows Ross coming down out of a turn number 8 through a Red Bull Mobile. Ross, Jacques, Andrew side by side into turn 1, 3 wide. Oh, a little contact between Jacques and Ross. Jacques unfortunately pushing Ross wide there. Ross will rejoin the track behind both Bruno and Dylan. Further up the field we see a Dupi from TTR, who's trying to close this gap down between himself and Marius. Through a turn number 4, Dupi just not able. Oh, that's, have a look at the positions. That was one of the Tosco drivers that was off. That was Louis rejoining the track. He unfortunately has now dropped down 2 positions, having fallen behind both Marius and Dupi. He's definitely going to have to start regrouping once again. We're on board with Colin coming through turn number 8. Colin having started 15th on the grid. He is currently lying second, so 7th, so really putting in a great effort here. Well, that was Marius on the side of the track there into turn number 1. So in shot, that is Colin, Jacques, Bruno, and then Andrew. Very closely contested here in the midfield of this race. Want to keep on this action, but I do want to have a quick look at the positions. So Charles still leads in lap 5 with Dirk second, Jakes is third. Dupi, he is 4th with Louis 5th. Colin has 6th. Colin has just moved up a few positions. Jacques is 6th, Bruno 7th, Andrew's 8th, Rudy's 9th, Gerard is 10th, Ross 11th, Jacques is 12th, Dylan 13th, and we catch up to Louis, who's now dropped down into 14th place. Jacques from DNA Racing starting to put some pressure here on Colin. We'll follow this action coming into turn number 7. Well, Colin was a little bit slow getting onto that power. Colin's now going to have both Jacques Racing and Bruno right on his tail. See Jacques just not getting that speed down this the main straight. So Colin will hold that position going into turn number 1. Bruno just weaving side to side. Well, that was Ross in the background, overcooking it, coming into turn number 1 there. Into Remus. Jacques very close behind Colin. I want to see what's happening elsewhere, but this action is just too captivating. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Will they have a look coming down into turn number 3? Jacques, he now goes defensive, having Bruno right up behind him, and Colin spins around. Jacques tries to avoid him, and he actually lands up taking himself out, spinning all the way down. You see Jacques now down to 12th position. Very unfortunate incident there for Jacques. So Colin now starting to feel the pressure here from Bruno. Just ahead of Colin, that was Duppy. Sure, Bruno will be able to move to the inside and make an overtake here into turn 1. No, he's not. It seems that the damage that he had got from his rollover off the start is impacting his straight line speed. What we see in the background there, that was a green car spinning, unfortunately. Not too sure who that was. So a race leader Charles here on lap number 7. He started to pull a 3.5 second gap ahead of his teammate Durkee, currently lying in 2nd place. So Charles is definitely on track, excuse the pun, to take his 2nd win here of this evening. Charles having been on a pole position in race 1, having won race 1, then taking pole here in race number 2, but unfortunately not getting the pressure that he was receiving from Bruno that we saw in race 1. Charles crosses the line to begin a lap number 8. So in the middle of your screen, that is Rudy from the Synergy Racing. Rudy making his first appearance here in the BMWs here in Pool 1, having been promoted from Pool 2. Is really getting stuck in here with the racing here in this league. Great to see Rudy putting in a great performance here, currently lying 9th, having started 11th on the grid. He's really doing well. So 5th is Colin. This is Bruno. He is 6th. Well, Colin going a little bit wide, coming out of turn number 3. Into turn number 4. Bruno going a little bit wider, taking a much faster line. Will be able to get on the inside here through turn number 6? No, he doesn't. We've seen that Bruno has been battling with his straight line speed after his contact in the start of the race. Through turn number 7. We'll see if Bruno can make a move going into turn 1 here. But he does seem to be a little bit too far away. Halfway through lap number 9, and Bruno's making a move on Colin, coming into turn number 3. A very tight line there between the driver. Extremely close. I'm not too sure if they touch, or there's 2 drivers spinning off there in the background. So that was Andrew and Gerard. Unfortunately, they touched. Let's see, Bruno's rear bumper is definitely the worst for wear there. But Bruno now having moved himself ahead of Colin. Bruno is now in 5th place and Colin down in 6th. So coming through turn number 8 for the last time. Double winner here at the Red Bull Ring. Scholl, he will cross the line. Durkee will finish 2nd, so 1-2 for Tosca 1. Jakes will come in 3rd. Duppy from TTR 4th. Colin will finish in 5th with Bruno 6th. Rudy 7th. Gerard will come in 8th with Andrew 9th. Jacques Racing in 10th. Ross 11th. Dylan 12th. Jacques from TTR in 13th. Louis in 14th and Marius down in 15th place. So now that both races 1 and 2 are complete of this event number 4, we're able to take a look at the top 10 in the driver standings. Jacques Racing from DNA Racing, he's currently in the top 10 place, just behind the Cape Town boy Ash on 48. Duppy, he's actually from TTR with 60 points, is currently in 8th, and Durkee from Tosca 1 is sitting 7th on 70 points. Gerard Tosco 2 on 82 points, currently in 6th place, and he is just behind Marius from Silverback Racing with 83. Louis from Tosco 2 with 104 points puts himself 4th, just behind Jakes on 119 in 3rd position. 2nd place Silverback Racing's Bruno with 126 points, and he is behind our championship leader Scholl from Tosca 1 on 180 points. The drivers' standings are as follows. Galaxy Racing and Team Wasted stay where they are. It is the Chasing Beavers are up 2 and Tosco 3 is down 6. Lone Ranger moves himself up into a 13th place, and Turbos and Bullets, they climb the ladder 4 places. Decor Racing is up 4, as well as the Fat Muckers up 2 positions, and DNA Racers are up 2 positions. The Green Mumbers are falling down 2 spots. That allows a Team Synergy up 4 places, and Cape Town Boys up 2, as well as TTR up 2. Ninja's Racing Team, they stay where they are in 4th. Tosco 2 are down 2 places. Silverback Racing are down 1, and we see a Tosco Racing moving up 1 position. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you did like this video, please give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification icon so you can be notified of new videos or live streams that go live. And don't forget to check out our website, get involved with the social media on Facebook, and then join the conversation through Discord. All the details are in the descriptions below. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, yos.